What is up? We are back. Black, what is up? This dick. Man, what is going on? You already know who I am. I'm your boy in the place to be. Been clown sucking free since 2003. Ain't no finessing me. Unless you can finesse me into some motherfucking money, nigga, and get me some. Shit, but other than that, ain't no finessing me. Not even, shit, only thing that probably can finesse me is some pussy. But no, that's another subject. Let me get yep. No, I'm just fucking with y'all. Man, what is going on? We are back, Black. Stronger than ever. Mentally, we should be. That's what we should be aspiring to be. Strong, mentally tough. Rough around the edges, but knowing what the fuck is going on. Man, it's a lot to discuss, a lot going on. Man, it's going from hot to cold. I feel like the weather don't know what they want to do, but I know what this pandemic is doing. Tanking the economy. Shout out to all you suck-ass niggas that think vote for Biden is going to save the economy. Oh, because he's going to save it like Obama did, right? Fuck out of here, niggas. Shout out to all you motherfuckers that didn't vote, but understand that I'm going to leverage my shit. If not, fuck them. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's at the Core Plantation right now. The shit is not fun at all. I can't stand when a motherfucker asks you some dumbass question like, man, why you got to go to work today? Nigga, because I ain't got no choice. We're having a conversation, you know, about, it's always these lazy motherfuckers that always want the finer things in life. And then the hard-working niggas just want to just live. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the hard-working motherfuckers that's at the Core Plantation. Hey, doing what it is. Hey, what's going on, bro? Man, what's going on with it? I see you in the chat. Man, how you been, bro? What's been up, man? Let me know what's going on in the ladies. I'm talking to the chat room, so shout out to everybody that's handling business. Hey, man, I want to send a special shout out to all my black folk at the corporate plantation that is not bucking their eyes and sandboing. Let me explain to you what that means. Bucking your eyes and sandboing is, hey, boss, I saw Tyrone over there picking up $2 on the floor. He didn't even report that, boss. Do you want me to call HR for him? On him, boss? Are you going to take care of it, boss? Because we can't have him stealing from the job. Shout out to those suck-ass niggas, too. And shout out to everybody that's trying to survive, man, because the shit is not easy. It's not fun. Not at all. So shout out to everybody that's out there surviving. Hey, I want to send a special shout out to a very, 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 very special shout out to my black folk that's holding down all my black businesses. Like I say, Freedom Paper Company. Here, let me see. Freedom Paper Company. Y'all go check them out. They had on CNN a toilet tissue shortage is coming again. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. Shout out to Freedom Paper Company. I'm going to show y'all that one more time. You know what I'm saying? So y'all motherfuckers understand what it is. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Just in case if y'all can't see it. Freedom Paper Company. That's black owned, y'all. So shout out to them. I fuck with them. Shout out to everybody that's reading. Hey, man, I got me a cold list of books. I just got some new ones, like I said. Shout out to everybody. I'm going to get into that today. We're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about this reform shit with the police. We're going to talk about Biden again, Trump, all that bullshit. And we're going to talk about how we fit into this equation of bullshit that's going on. Because the first thing that Neely Fuller Jr. says, if you're not trying to replace the system of racism and white supremacy, then what the fuck are you doing? You should be trying to find new and inventive ways. That doesn't mean going and marching on the 95 freeway in Las Vegas, Nevada, and laying down and talking about fight for our rights. That means, let me put another black person on. That's fighting white supremacy too. So shout out to everybody that supports black businesses. Try to support them as much as you can. Motherfuckers think that you gotta have thousands of dollars to support a black business. It takes $20. God damn. Like me, I like to purchase my natural herbs from Tahuti, my Atra herbs. Go fuck with him. God damn. Go buy some Dr. Clyde Anderson books. That's a black business. Go buy some Dr. Boyce Watkins books. God damn. Buy Dr. Joy DeGroove's book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Man, that's supporting a black business. God damn. Motherfuckers will go buy Balenciaga all day. I'm really thinking about going into these public forums and just walking around, and I gotta get, my sister got me this thing. I gotta look for it a couple of years ago where it's like a hidden camera. And I really want to go to these different stores and just show people how they feel about niggas and how overpriced and cheap they shit is. You know what I'm saying? Because I really think we need to do ourselves a better service of supporting our own folk and not worried about supporting all these European fucking businesses. We got to support them as it is, buying the food and everything else. But you don't have to go out of that way to buy no Balenciaga and all this bullshit. That's sucker shit. But that's to each his own. So shout out to y'all if y'all want to spend y'all money there. Shout out to the niggas that count your money, but they don't want to get up and go to work every day. Shout out to the niggas that don't go to work every day, but sit around and figure out how they gonna finesse a nigga out of $10 or $5. If you can finesse 10 people out of $10, that's $100. You know what I'm saying? Shit, goddamn. You know what I mean? So just think how quick a motherfucker be like, hey man, you got $10? Let me borrow $10 to payday. Boop, and they go to the next nigga. It's a lot of them niggas out there too. Like I said, you got 24 hours in a day just like me. That's why I said I want to send a shout out to motherfuckers that had the finer things in life but don't work a job, don't have shit going on. That blows my mind. And then sit around and be like, shit, man, what you trying to do tonight? Nigga, I'm tired. Man, what you tired from? Nigga, from work. Nigga, what you mean? Oh, shit, man, I'm about to go kick it. Well, nigga, go do your thing. Nigga, fuck out of here. Shout out to MEWTW0666. Shout out to him. You know, I can tell you right now, shit ain't funny. When this system, this oppressive system of racism and white supremacy is really finna show y'all how they feel about Donald Trump not winning. Y'all gonna see it in a real way. That's a fact. We about to get into it right now. Hey. Let me cut this clown ass shit down. Man, there's a lot of shit going on. If y'all see the thumbnail, you know, I said we should never believe in this system. Ever. And motherfuckers be wondering why, but the reason why I say that, why we should never believe in this system. The reason why I got that picture, that's Sylvan Simmons. That's him. The picture to the left, when you look at the thumbnail, that's him before he got shot by the police. That's him after he got shot by the police. You know, he's looking back years later, and then the other picture is him in the hospital. And there's a note that he wrote too, because he was on the ventilator, he couldn't talk. This is because police said, oh, I was in fear for my life and he shot at me. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, we gotta wake up, man. Both parties don't give a fuck about niggas. Both parties are gonna support law enforcement. Law enforcement is never going to change. There's so many people funding them. There's so much shit going on. Police officers are there to police policies. They police stereotypes. They don't give a fuck about what you think. They don't care how smart you are. If you fit the stereotype, they pulling you over and they taking you to jail. That's a fact. Whenever you leave the house, you need to know that your life is always in danger. And you got to understand where you're going. Don't just be joyride. I say a lot of niggas out here in Las Vegas just joyride. I'm like, nigga, you don't get comfortable, nigga. Just because you don't hear a whole bunch of racial shit going on out here in Las Vegas don't mean that shit is not happening, because it is. It happens on the Court Plantation. It happens everywhere. It happens on the Strip. It happens everywhere. Trust and believe you me. It's just a lot of white folks are mad at the system because the economy is tanking. So now everybody just trying to blame COVID. But eventually when everybody see it was a whoop-wop, they going to be like, that's a lot of times I notice when the dominant society want to team up with black folk, when they start getting shitted on, then they want to be like, hey, this isn't fair. Like that white man said in the airport, you're treating me like a nigger. I'm not a nigger. Why are you treating me like this? Niggas better wake up, man. I'm gonna play something real quick, but I just thought I would, let y'all know, look, man, this shit is not fun and games. Niggas think that this shit is fun and games and that the shit is gonna change. That's what be having me rolling, man. Shit ain't never gonna change. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. Nigga, we gotta change it. We gotta take the shit. Can't go to these people saying, well, y'all please change it for us. They not. They know that they owe us reparations. And this book, man, I have my phone, but man, I got a cold list of new books. There's this book I want to get, and I'm probably gonna get it today. It's about this slave, Una Judge, that George Washington owned, and she was able to escape, and them motherfuckers sent a worldwide motherfucking dog hunt on that bitch, trying to get her back. And then it was there's another book that I was reading, because Amazon, they look at your algorithm. There's another book about this sister who got her freedom the first time, and then her owners colluded and threw her back into bondage. And then she got her freedom again. And then when she got her freedom again, that bitch went and got a lawyer and sued for reparations and won. See, they just don't want y'all knowing a lot of this shit. Straight up. Just like I'm reading this book right now, The World's Great Men of Color. I don't know if that's the title. It's by J.A. Rogers. He's the one who wrote Sex, Race, and Religion. Nature Knows No Color Line. Real dope author. Y'all need to check him out. He starts talking about this dude, Crowther. I think he was from South Africa, or I know he's from Africa. I can't remember everything. I got to start taking some ginkgo pills. But anyway, the brother was basically like indoctrinating Christianity and teaching it to other people, but they was just kind of looking at him like, well, you know, yeah, we just basically about to use you for a whoop wop. And then when he kind of saw what was going on, he didn't really like it. Just like this other African brother, I think it's Kahama or Kahama. And he basically was into Christianity, and he would get into it with his dad, from what I'm reading, because I'm almost at the end of the book. Like, that book is so highlighted. I done went through so many highlights. I don't try to speed read no more, because I don't think you retain as much knowledge. Take your time and read this shit. Because in this book that I'm reading, World's Great Men of Color or whatever, this brother Kahama, now he was into Christianity, right? Now his family were witch doctors and sorcerers, so they was into voodoo, you know, our shit. He thought that shit didn't work or whatever. So he would get into it with his family. Well, he was about peace and tranquility and all that. Well, he outlawed alcohol because he felt like black folk didn't need to be on alcohol because we get to acting a fool. This is like in the 1800s. So he like, nah, I'm outruling that. Nah, we not fucking with that or whatever. So he didn't really like a lot of the European whiskey dealers because, you know, they sell it to niggas and niggas that get to acting a fool. You know how white people do. They give you the poison and watch you kill yourself and watch you act a fool. And they get the popcorn. Like, you know how they do. So he kind of like, nah, I'm outlawing that shit. Y'all not bringing that shit over here. So I'm telling you the story to tell you this. Then in the book, the nigga basically is like, you know, I don't want no alcohol here. It's like black folks are possessed by the devil. You know, we get to acting a fool. So then these white people, they start drinking alcohol right in front of him after he outlawed it in his country. And he's like, man, what the fuck is y'all doing? Then that's when he's like, well, I'm using your religion that you taught us. Yeah, clown, because it's their religion that they gave you to quell the storm of the niggas that don't like them. Throughout this whole book, I can't remember everybody, but throughout this whole book, all they talking about is how Europeans, whether it's the French, the Spaniards, they all trying to conquer Africa and take over and do what the fuck they want. And what they do is they use Sambo type niggas to use that Christianity shit to quell the storm, and then you associate God with them. Like how they got niggas out here in the United States of America Incorporated. See, they've been doing this shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? That's why I just was like, damn, man. And then he's basically like, well, you know, how dare you guys drink liquor in front of me? And this is your religion that I'm teaching. But I wish I could have been, I'm like, well, nigga, no shit, Sherlock. It's they shit that they taught you. They gave you that narrative. That's why they feel like they can disrespect you the way they do. Now, with that being said, all these black folk going out there voting for Joe Biden and all this other stuff, that nigga never denounced law enforcement, neither will Kamala Harris. Both sides will never denounce that, right? But they keep killing us with impunity and not giving a fuck and hiding behind that, oh, I fear for my life. And this brother Sylvan Simmons, you know, what tripped me out about this whole situation, this went on like 2016 or whatever, but he fired a gun at me, so they dumped on him. That nigga was on life support type shit. And I'm about to find the officer's name. I think it was, hold on, let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna look for his name. I think it's an Italian name, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, let's see. Joseph Ferrigno. An Italian who was probably raised and trained to hate niggas. That's the way it goes. It's a fact. Let me see what you said, brother. What's up, bro? I got this baby. She 10 months going crazy. That book sound fire, though. Hey, man, congratulations, bro. Hey, I feel you, man. I feel you. Man, kids ain't no joke, bro. You remember, we was one. Hey, and I'm telling you, you around the clock on that shit. I already know. I'm telling you, I already know what it is, man. I like, when I don't see y'all for a minute, I know y'all handling business. Like, hey, you know me. Y'all should know me after watching my channel. Nigga, I ain't on here for no clout chasing shit. Nigga, I ain't got no Patreon. I got a Cash App that I don't even know what the fuck it is. I'm never going to put it up here like that because it ain't that deep. Nigga, this is information that we just need to be sharing. Fuck all that, man. Like, nah. It's too much other shit going on. I want niggas that support other black businesses. You ain't got to be worried about putting shit in my hand. That's why my clown ass go to a corporate plantation every day. So I ain't got to be worried about that shit as of right now. But I might be on here one day like, hey, y'all, my Cash App is don'tbebroke.com. Type shit. But for now, man, don't trip. I'm glad you doing well, bro. But yeah, man, these books, like I said, I just got 100 Years of Lynching. I don't even know if I want to read that book. I might have to take off 2 months at the corporate plantation because I might want to go in there and get to tripping or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really going to fuck with me. That's why it's hard to read a lot of these books. That's why I had to go back and read, like, origin African shit that tells the good things about us. Because, man, when you start reading a lot of the shit, like, I don't have that book up here right now, but The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, when you start reading that book, you do start looking at the white Jewish community like, y'all was lightweight doing some bullshit, man. And y'all trying to act like y'all some way absolved of all the bullshit that we going through right now. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with y'all. That's why they'll have Gail Cadet play Cleopatra. Because this is what the Jewish community do. The Weinsteins, the Steins, the Steins, the Bergs and all that. That's what they do. They want to control the narrative so bad. But my thing is this. If you are, thank you, makes a nigga homicidal. My thing is this. If you are the chosen one, then why y'all can't go on the Sun? I'm telling everybody right now, go watch The Underworld with Kate Beckinsale. It breaks down racism at its rarest form. Just go watch The Underworld with Victor. That nigga was like, what is this ruckus? Celine, you know how it works. Two asleep, one awake. It is Marcus's turn to rule. That type of shit. Y'all need to go with it. Oh, master, but Craven, we are in grave danger. Not knowing that, bitch, he don't fuck with you either. It just shows how racism is. Because my thing is, if you're the chosen one, why y'all can't go in the sun? Y'all need sunblock for y'all, not for us. We kissed by the sun and we have melanin. So it's just funny how they control and write the narrative their way. So as I'm looking, and I'm going to play this video about Savon Simmons, but I want to read a little bit about our man Joseph Ferrigno. I think he got a lot of complaints. By the time Officer Joseph Ferrigno shot a black man from behind, court records show the Rochester cop had drawn at least 23 misconduct complaints in nearly 9 years on the force. Now, Rochester, this is the same people that killed Daniel Prude, right? See, now all this shit is starting to make sense, right? Okay, now, if you go on Netflix and you watch this show, I forgot what it's called, The Nine or whatever, where it was like these 9 cops that was trying to fight the New York Police Department. And they were trying to fight him because they were whistleblowing, because one of the cops, he was like Latino, but he must have had black people in his family or people that look black. And they was basically like, you need to stop everybody that's black between the ages of 14 and 21. You're stopping them, arresting them. And you better meet your quota. And that nigga was like, but why? If they not doing, I don't care if they're not doing nothing. Be guilty. So this is what's been going on. They'll even get your own to turn against you. That's what I've been reading the world's great men of color, either Crowther or Kahama. I know Kahama. Just go look this shit up. This motherfucker was like embracing Christianity and basically he was at odds with his family because they was on the voodoo shit. They was on their African ancient belief system. Fuck that Christianity. That's what these motherfuckers got. And while they giving you Christianity, those motherfuckers is practicing Ifa, voodoo, Santeria. They practicing that shit while your ass is talking about Jesus, I'll never forget, and praying to Cesare Borgia. So I'm just telling y'all right now, y'all better know what it is. So he done drawn, Joseph Ferrigno done drawn 23 missing in the forest. One came from a woman who said Ferrigno, burly hockey player, slammed her to the ground and broke one of her ribs. Another was from a one-legged man dumped from his wheelchair at a bus stop and roughed up by Ferrigno and 2 other officers. Through it all, the Rochester Police Department and the Locust Club, the local police union, stood by Ferrigno. By his own account, the officer never once was disciplined for using excessive force. Why doesn't Kamala Harris and Joe Biden attack and address that? Because these motherfuckers ain't gonna never denounce the police unions. Ever. Remember that. Then, let's read on. Then came April 1st, 2016, when Ferrigno, alone in his squad car on a chilly, moonless night, made the most fateful decision of his career. 2 hours into his shift, Ferrigno spotted a Chevrolet Impala, the same model driven by a black man suspected of threatening a woman with a gun a few days before. Without turning on his overhead lights or siren, Ferrigno followed for a few blocks, then watched as the driver backed into a driveway on a residential street. The officer pulled in front of the driveway, flipped on his cruiser spotlight, and trained it on the Impala. He saw 2 black men inside. Ferrigno drew his Glock handgun, jumped out, and shouted, "Stay in the car," he later told detectives in a sworn statement. So Vaughn Simmons, the passenger in the Impala, remembers the moment differently. He heard no warning. He told Reuters, blinded by the spotlight, he couldn't even make out anything about the car blocking the narrow driveway. Simmons, a 34-year-old equipped delivery man, wasn't the man wanted by police. Oh, so you targeted the wrong person. Oh, okay. Nor was the car's driver, who lived next door. The 2 later explained they were coming home from a trip to the store. As Simmons stepped from the Impala and squinted into the spotlight, he told Reuters he was terrified by the silhouette that emerged, a large figure charging toward him, gun in hand. In a neighborhood where gunplay is common, Simmons turned and ran toward the back door of the house where he lived with his girlfriend and their 3 boys. Now this is what's going on. I'm just reading you what they put. Ferrigno, 33, had been on the lookout for a man driving an Impala. Even so, the cop ran past the driver, pursuing Simmons into the darkness. Suddenly, Ferrigno told the detectives he saw a white flash and heard a loud bang. Simmons was shooting at me, the officer said, and the fear came over me that he was going to continue until he got me. I feared for my life. That's why I'm reading this, so y'all can get where it is. Ferrigno fired 4 shots, hitting Simmons 3 times in his back, his buttock, and his right thigh. A second officer soon arrived, and the 2 approached the black man bleeding in the grass. There, Ferrigno later told detectives he spotted something, the suspect's gun, on the ground next to him. Simmons later said that he hadn't fired a gun and didn't even own one. Cops swarmed the scene, at least 5 hours, including detectives who, isn't that what they did to Breonna Taylor? They let her body be there for 10, 12, 13 hours before the mother could even identify the body, and they didn't even tell her what was going on. Simmons, stripped naked by paramedics, treated his wounds, was handcuffed, and loaded into an ambulance. Although Simmons was the one who took 3 bullets, Ferrigno is listed as the victim in at least 65 police reports. Wow. And then the head of the police union out there is, I'm about to look him up too, the head of the police union that is out there that was taken up for Ferrigno. Oh, he was under investigation for some shit he did years ago. Let's see if I can find him. What? Oh, here we go. All right, Rochester's. I'm about to look for it right now so y'all can know. The Locust Club Mazzo and other union bosses say that they were protecting public servants who have answered dangerous callings. Rochester cops patrol a city where the rate of violent crime is twice the national average. Stop. Since 1952, Rochester police officers have been fatally shot while on the job. Union records show. The most recent was in 2014 when Officer Daryl Pearson was shot and killed during a foot chase following a traffic stop. All right. Right. And that police union head exec Mazzo, he was under the gun for some bullshit too. I'm just trying to find out where it is because I just read it. But I'm telling y'all, this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. This is what y'all gotta know. Read these articles and see what the fuck these motherfuckers is talking about. Let's read. The Locust Club, which started as a social club for cops, a gang, is named for a kind of wood used to make nightsticks. In its early years as a union, it built a reputation for confrontation. Its members once tried unsuccessfully to pressure city officials for a raise by ticketing their cars. Another time, cops campaigned for overtime pay by staging 6-hour walkout in violation of a judge's order. The city agreed almost immediately to return to the bargaining table, and cops won overtime. Wow. And this is the same place where Daniel Prue got killed. The Locust Club also fought efforts to allow outsiders to play even an adversary role in disciplining officers. Among its first moves, waging a 5-year legal challenge against a civilian-led police advisory board that the union said was unconstitutional and hostile to the police, ignorant of police problems. The union lost the court battle, but won the war. In 1970, soon after the Locust Club exhausted its appeals, a new Republican mayor effectively killed the board by eliminating its funding. This is what goes on. Wow. I just thought I would read that shit to y'all so y'all can see. I'm just trying to break it down so y'all can see what the fuck is going on. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if I can find it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on real quick. Damn. I just was reading that shit about Mazzo or whatever. Here, I'm gonna go back up and look for that shit. Cause I was just reading that shit about Mazzo. Because that motherfucker did some bullshit too. Found it. I'm about to read this. Now listen. In July 1964, cops brought police dogs on a call to arrest a drunk man at a street party in a black neighborhood. Sparking days of riots in 1993, federal lawyers unsuccessfully prosecuted 5 narcotics officers who allegedly robbed, beat, and tortured suspects in predominantly minority neighborhoods. Black. They just didn't want to say black. They said minority. And what has Dr. Claude Anderson said? Minority, people of color, those are broad and ambiguous terms. Black neighborhoods. One of those acquitted was Mazzo, who became head of the union 15 years later in 2008. This is the same person that's protecting another anti-black racist, another race soldier. See, it's all connected. So if they're doing that at the law enforcement level, just imagine what they're doing at the top. It's all in conjunction with each other. They all fuck with each other. Rochester police officers have shot at least 44 people since 1970. A Reuters review of press accounts found of those 23 died. At least a dozen officers involved in those shootings were recognized later that year for distinguished or excellent service. One received a key to the city for killing a motherfucker. You got a key to the city. Wow. I'm telling y'all motherfuckers better wake the fuck up. That's a fact. Now I'm about to play this. Let's play this so y'all can hear about what the fuck they got going on. Let's just listen to this. And when you listen to this, think of your lovely president and Kamala Harris, a.k.a. Kamami, a.k.a. Cop Mala.
In the wake of the death of George Floyd and the protests demanding police reform, some attorneys say Rochester could learn a lot from the Sylvan Simmons case. Simmons is a black man who was shot by police in his own backyard. Jack Watson shows us why it's back in the public eye tonight. Jack, you spoke with Simmons today.
That's right, Maureen. I heard from Simmons today, as well as a public defender. They believe Simmons' case is an example of police being too aggressive, namely against people of color.
Broad, ambiguous term. What did I just tell y'all? Minorities, people of color. We're not hearing about no Latinos getting gunned down in their backyard, but we definitely know about niggas getting gunned down. See, you got to define that. See, I would be like, well, wait, what do you mean people of color? People of color could be East Indians. People of color could be dark Latinos, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. Do you mean black folk? Foundational black Americans? See, you got to nip that shit in the bud. Because if you don't, what they'll do is they'll keep using those broad, ambiguous terms.
In 2016, Sylvan Simmons was shot 3 times by a Rochester police officer who thought Simmons fired a gun.
This ain't the first or the 10th or the 20th or the 100th. Like, they've been doing this. So it's a thing. So that's why it's so hard to change, and that's why it keep happening.
Simmons was accused of assault and trying to murder a police officer. He was acquitted of those charges. Elizabeth Riley.
And didn't I just read to y'all that they locked him up? Matter of fact, after they shot, they locked him up. They did the same thing they did to what's the brother where his mom was Sambo, being a mammy. I forgot his name. He got shot in the back, and then he talking about we just need to basically get along on some Rodney King shit. Stop.
With the Monroe County Public Defender's Office, she says Simmons' case is an example of aggressive policing, especially against black men.
There is just a carelessness out there and a mentality of violence.
But see, you got to break this down. Is that careless or that's malicious intent? Carelessness is just like, oh, I pulled you over and I didn't look at your insurance and I took you to jail, but I didn't really look at it. That's carelessness. Carelessness is, well, I don't really know why I pulled you over. I just wanted to pull you over, but you can go. That's carelessness. No, malicious intent is, I don't like you because you're a nigga, and it's my job to police you niggas, and I'm going to shoot you and say that there was a gun. That's not carelessness. That's malicious intent. That is backed by anti-black racism. Stop. And remember, this is a public defender speaking. She works for the system as well, who tells black folk to plea. To cop just might as well just plead because you're not going to get a better deal than this.
Against young black men, that is pervasive. I see it in my work constantly. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and I see it day in and day out.
Rochester Locust Club police agencies all over the country.
Now, Mr. Mazzio. Now, let's talk about Mr. Mazzio, our Italian brother who probably thinks that niggas ain't shit and moulion and all this other shit and eggplant and all. They got all these racial slurs for us. But why don't y'all just go back to Italy? I don't understand this. This is the thing that I never understood about everybody having all their pride in their country. Why don't you go back there? See, we're foundational black Americans. We were born here. Our ancestors built this country. Y'all's didn't. So you are freeloaders. So this is the reason why freeloaders are killing black folk. That's why black folk, foundational black Americans, are every other racial group's punching bag. Because they're allowed to do it by the white dominant society. Because if the white dominant society want to shut that shit down, they can shut it down tomorrow and be like, all right, ain't gonna be no more of that bullshit. If the dominant white society start being like, all right, fuck you Italians, fuck all you motherfuckers, everybody run back to their country. If you like, well, nah, we not giving y'all shit. We ain't giving you no business. I don't give a fuck about your pizza. You could make that pizza shit in Italy. Take your bitch ass back to where you came from. Then motherfuckers have packed their shit up and go the fuck back. Like on the Housewives. The bitch who was doing mortgage fraud and all the other stuff, her and her husband, he wasn't even a citizen. He was an immigrant. He was here illegally. So I'm like, how the fuck is this happening? But you'll come here and talk about how you built your foundation and your wealth with a quarter in your pocket because you was allowed to do that. But now you have Italians ahead of the police unions, and what do you think is going to happen?
We are under the microscope and agrees some reform is necessary, but he defends the officer's action.
Now let me rewind this, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm rewinding. Remember, Mike Mazzeo is the motherfucker that beat somebody up in 19, I don't know if it's 64 or whatever. Here, hold on, let's see. Yeah, let's see. 1964. Yeah, 1964. Yes. Yeah, and one of those acquitted was Mazzeo. Yeah. In 1964, it sparked a whole bunch of bullshit, and then in 1993 is when he got prosecuted. So that happened. So those federal lawyers prosecuted those officers, and he was one of the officers that was prosecuted for beating a motherfucker up and beating a black person up and torturing him. Mike Mazzeo, that motherfucker right there. And then he later became the head of the police union. So what does that tell y'all? They don't give a fuck about y'all. Period. When you gonna see a motherfucking nigga head of a police union? Stop it. Let's rewind this so y'all can hear this shit, man. For real.
20 years, and I see it day in and day out.
Rochester Locust Club president Mike Mazzeo knows police agencies all over the country are under.
Mike Mazzeo is an anti-black racist. Period. I go hard. Look, let me tell you something. Cause look, I got a homeboy, not a homeboy, but a real. He was like a mentor to me, Italian OG, and he broke down that racial shit too. And he was one of the main ones that was like, that racial shit stems from generations of people being taught that black people ain't this and black people ain't that. And he was like, but I fucking tell you, Warren G, if it wasn't fucking black people, fucking Italians wouldn't know shit. Yeah, and I was like, why you say? He's like, and then his friend who was Italian was saying the same shit. Cause he was even like, where you think we got carpentry and all that shit from? We didn't make that shit up. That didn't happen to fucking black people taught us how to do that shit. Cause a lot of Italians and Sicilians know their real history. They just don't tell it because that will give us the respect and the power that we rightfully deserve. So what they do is they keep the knowledge esoteric. They hide the knowledge. So they hide it and make it seem like they came up with all that. That's why it's all this Italian pride and all this other shit. But I'm here to tell you, well, I'm glad you have Italian pride, but you should be thanking the Moors. See, I was the first. I remember I was at the Court Plantation, and this is a while ago. This is a long time ago, and this Italian person, Italian this and all this other stuff. I said, yeah, you should be thanking black folks for that, and I wanted him, to be like, what do you mean? I said, well, because if it wasn't for black people, Italians wouldn't know about bricklaying, carpentry, or anything. He was like, I never heard of that. I said, well, it's Googleable, so you should Google it. I said, they're called the Moors. So go ahead and Google it. And then when he Googled it right there to fact check, and he was just like, I said, and I've got plenty of books. You're more than welcome. I loved it because it crushed his little Italian heart. I loved it to death. And there was nothing he could say. Jaw dropped. He was quiet. Silence. And I said, man, it's crazy they don't teach that. But yeah, we're responsible for all that. We ruled the Iberian Peninsula. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for the Moors going into Europe, Europe would have died off from the bubonic plague until the Moors came into Europe with vaccinations for all our European brothers and sisters that didn't know how to be clean. You know what I'm saying? But I said I digress. That motherfucker couldn't say shit. He was quiet as the church mouse. Oh, what's going on, Tasha? I see you. Man, he was quiet as the church mouse. Hold on.
The microscope and agrees some reform is necessary, but he defends the officer's actions in the Simmons case, arguing that he had to act quickly.
So he had to act quickly on shooting somebody and damn near killing them. Talking about he had a gun. All I saw was a flash, a bang, he had a gun. Well, you didn't know if he had a gun. How we know you didn't plant that shit? And since we can't really see the footage, that footage should be live. It should be live to taxpayer dollars that can watch. We should be able to go on to a YouTube feed and look and watch a police, or we should be able to tap. If you pay taxes, you should be able to tap into any police officer that lives in your ward that's policing your ward or your district. And you should be able to tap into whoever is policing, and everybody should be able to tap in at the same time so we can all watch the same thing live. That's what they should do. They should make it where that camera footage is live, and then if you pay taxes, Here's your link. You can go on there and tap in and you can watch Officer such and such. You can watch any officer you want. Just go on there and tap on. Those are the people that are patrolling your neighborhood, and you are able to see it in a live. You can see it live. So now there is no, well, we got to review the footage. Well, we all saw the footage, so we all know what's going on. See, that's what motherfuckers need to start saying. Well, why we can't tap into the footage ourselves and watch it live? Why is it y'all have control of it and can manipulate it and erase shit and change shit? Because that's what they do. But you notice Mike Mazzio, the Italian, oh, well, I agree. You know, he stands and agrees with him. Well, he almost killed somebody. What the fuck you mean?
Ever wants to be in that situation, it's the last thing you ever possibly want to occur and happen. That's the reality of what police work is.
Simmons was held in jail awaiting trial for more than a year, only to be found not guilty. He says the time to reform police work and the justice system is now.
They can't talk about it. They got to really do it.
Well, just days ago, the New York State Senate passed a repeal of a law that shields police personnel records from the public, a step made by those state lawmakers toward police reform. Live in the newsroom, Jack Watson, News 8.
All right.
Police reform, police reform. I don't know what I tell y'all. That ain't nothing but just moving cops around. This man is the head of the police union, but he was tried for beating the shit out of a black person that they don't want to talk about. And of course he wasn't convicted. He's law enforcement. He's a part of them. That's why when they be like, well, we're going to have the FBI come in there. Nigga, that's almost like you at the corporate plantation and you make a complaint against somebody that's in charge, and then the person that's in charge of them, they do the investigation, and that person that's in charge of them is friends with them. Well, how you think that investigation is going to go? So that should tell you all you need to know about this so-called police reform and all this other shit. And you like, well, what does that mean? I'm relating it to our good friend, Cop Mala Harris. Them motherfuckers ain't going to denounce the police unions. Matter of fact, why do y'all need a union? If y'all doing the job of protecting and serving, what you need a union for? You should never be worried about your job because you should be able to do your job correctly, but that's because they're hiring coward anti-black racists to police black folk. And then you watch the black folks that's police officers and they act worse than the goddamn white police officers. You'd rather get pulled over by a white one. Because, you know, black person, they looking at you all crazy. I remember one time, I was at my apartment a long time ago with my homeboy, a couple of, friends. And the police were called out. I'll never forget this shit. The police were called out, whatever. And it wasn't nothing big. And the white police officer was cool. He just took our statements. It was about some shit. A nigga was basically, was on some bullshit. This was a person that lived in the apartment complex. So he had to get nothing but the blood of Jesus. He had to get oops upside the head. So nigga ooped upside his head or whatever. So the police was called. Boom, boom. They come out. So the white dude come out and talk to me, my homeboy. It's two of us. It's three of us. Right? I'm the black person, so I'm already not tripping. I'm like, here we go. The white police officer is basically like, okay, what happened? Ooh, we tell him what happened. He's like, all right, cool. Don't worry about it. It's all good. The black police officer, what he does is he starts questioning me to the side. And you sure you weren't doing nothing you were supposed to do and all this stuff? And I'm like, nigga, nah. I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. So he like, okay, I'm just making sure. And I'm like, all right, man, y'all need me? And then after that, I was like, I'm out. And after that, that was the only experience that I needed from a black police officer to let y'all know that they worse than the white ones a lot of the time. They ain't protecting and serving. So I'm telling y'all right now, y'all better be on y'all P's and Q's. Y'all better understand what life is about. Y'all better understand that just because they black don't mean they on your side. They could be a sandball coon. They could be, I tell him about the gun line boss. And when I saw how he was acting towards me, he was way more aggressive than the white police officer. The white police officer was pretty much done. Once he got all our statements, he was like, all right, this is done. But the black officer, he wants to keep asking me questions and pull me to the side and trying to grill me. And I kept saying, but why you keep asking me the same questions he already asked me? Well, I'm just trying to make sure. Make sure of what? And then the other police officer finally was like, all right, we got, And I was like, man, and even, my homeboy, they was like, dude, what was up with him? But that's what happens, man. But hey, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Hey, man, you already know what it is. If you're dealing with a sandbar cone, guilty, nigga. Hey, man, I'm out. Peace.